you're doing one and I'm going through the two. All right. So if you, when you find the slope of this line, what is your slope? Class, if you know it, say it out loud. -4. Because remember, your slope, so your slope is -4. When you have y equals mx plus b, your slope is what number is in front of that x. If there is just a plain old x, what would your slope be? 1. So your slope, your m, would be 1. What if it was a negative x? What would your slope be? -1. And if we had something like, like number 2, y is equal to 2, what is your slope? 0. And remember, your slope is the 0. Are you looking for a specific pencil? Or?
No, I'm just organizing.
We're not organizing right now. This is what we're doing. So remember that your slope is what's in front of that x. All right. If you have not done so, please take a moment to find the equation of this line. Remember, you're looking for your slope and you're looking for your y-intercept. And a couple of things, the slope-intercept form, because slope is your m, your intercept is b. That's how you can kind of use this top for your guide. So really the easiest way to do this is to find your y-intercept, where this crosses the axes. So where does this line hit the y-axis? What's the number?
4.
So it is 4. So is that my m or my b? That's my b. So b is 4. Now I have to find my m. I have to figure out what m is. If you go from this point, I can do my m, remember, is your rise over your run. So if I go here, I'm going to go down because I'm counting this part. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go down 3 and then right 1, 2, 3. And what is your -3 divided by 3? -1. Now, if you were to put a -1 in for your test, I would never mark that wrong. But remember, we don't have to have the 1. It's understood. Or you could totally put that 1 there. It doesn't matter to me. Either way, this or this. The other thing that you could do is if you really still struggle with this, what you could do is you can take the point, so you could go 1, 2, 3, so you have -3, and this one is going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to do it out, but you could take this point and this point, 0 and 5, use your slope formula, and then solve for b that same exact way to get this. All right, now take a moment to write the equation for number 4. Write that equation for number 4. So all you had to do is to take out your m and take out your b. So we have y equals negative 17x minus 23. Right? Because you're just replacing that m and you're replacing that b.
Is it really all in print?
Is it really what?
All in print.
I'm so sorry.
Is it really already Friday?
Oh, is it really Friday? Yes, it really is. All right, next, remember you have to take and you put this in your slope. You're going to put your slope as your negative 2, this as your point, and solve for the equation. And you always are starting with that y equals mx plus b. So take a moment and do number 5. So remember that negative 5 is my x or y? X. And it's alphabetical. So this is your x, this is your y. Your slope is your m. So Hayden, make sure we're paying this way. So we're going to put your m in here. So it's negative 2. Your x is negative 5 plus my b, and y is 20. Then I'm going to go and say negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. And then I would subtract 10. So 20 minus 10 is 10. So B is 10. Lastly, you just have to put it into that equation, taking out your m and your b. So your final answer is y equals, and Michael, what would it be? Negative 2x plus 10. Very good. On number 6, you have 2 points. You first have to find the slope using this equation. Then you'll be at the exact same spot as this one. Since we are kind of doing it together, let's pick a point first. What point do you guys want to use? 8 and negative 2. So you're going to find your m and then use this point. Either one would get you the same one, but we're going to use this point. So take a moment to find m and to use that equation just like we did up here. So to find m, I'm going to write that equation down here so we can see it. Remember, it's m is equal to your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is your first point, so this is your x1, y1. This is your second point, so this is x2, y2. So y2 is negative 2 minus my negative 11 over your 8 minus a negative 16. Two negatives, when they're next to each other, make them positive. So I have negative 2 plus 11 is 9 over 8 plus 16, 24. Then you have to ask yourself, can I reduce that? in your calculators. Remember, if you do 9, ABC, and 24, it will reduce it to what you can reduce it to. So yours would reduce to 3/8. So M is 3/8. Then you have to put it into the equation y equals mx plus b. So from this, Hayden, which one is my y? So what is y?
8 and -2.
So which one's my y of the 8 and -2? Which one is it?
8.
So 8 or -2 is your y value.
Oh. -2.
-2. Then your m is
8.
3/8. And your x would be that 8. You have here 3. You would go in your calculator, just so you can make sure you know how to do it. Go 3 divided by 8, parenthesis, 8, end of parentheses, which is going to give me 3. And it's 3 right there. So I have -2 is equal to 3 plus b. To solve for b, you would subtract 3 from both sides. So I have my b, and you have your m. So your answer is y equals 3/8 x minus 5. The back side is the exact same problems as the front. On the test, it's going to be multiple choice, these are. But I still would do them out and then choose your answer so that they don't sway what you would do. But now, we're going to try it again. Hopefully this time, with the review, you'll be able to do a little bit better than the front, unless you got 100. So, take a moment and you find your slope and find that y-intercept. Remember, your slope is your rise over your run, and your b is where it crosses the y-axis. Alright, so your b, your y-intercept, what's your y-intercept? 0. Because it crossed right here. That's 0. Your slope is what? So I want to find my slope. I want to find my rise over run. So I'm going to find from this point to here. So is this a positive or negative slope? Positive. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go up 5 and over 1, 2, 3. Then, remember, this goes into the y equals mx plus b. So your slope is 5/3, and x plus b, since b is 0, you don't have to write it. That's the answer. If you wrote y is equal to 5/3 x plus 0, I would not mark it wrong, but this would be more appropriate. Alright. Take a minute to do number 8. So you're trying to solve for number 8. You're putting in those points into and finding b. So you always start with y equals mx plus b. We're putting this in for our m. This is alphabetical x, y, z. So we always think of it like the last three so you can get those in order. So your x is -6, your 8 is y. So y is 8 is equal to my -1/3 x, which is -6, plus b. Then you're going to bring your 8 down. So we have -1/3 times your -6. Negative and negatives are positive. And then we have 1/3 times 6 is 2. Again, in your calculator, you would go -1 divided by 3, parenthesis, -6, parenthesis. Gives you that 2. Plus b. To move this to the other side, what do I have to do? So I'm going to subtract 2. So 6 is equal to b. Our slope was -1/3. Our y-intercept is 6. Our equation is y equals -1/3 x plus 6. Alright, take a minute or two to find the slope of this. Remember, you're using the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is your first point. This is your second point. So x1, y1. x2, y2. The first thing that you have is you're going to take your y2, which is 19, minus your y1, which is 16. Your x2 is -14, minus your x1, which is a -7. You can throw that in your calculator just like that. You don't even have to simplify that, like the negative make a positive. You can just go 12 minus 16 gives you that -4. Say it again. Oh, I have no idea. It was in my head. Thank you. So 19. Thank you. Thank you. 19 minus 16. Did I get the other ones right? -14. Okay. So let's try that again. So 19 minus 16 gives you a 3 over -14 minus a -7 is -7. So -3/7 is our slope. Then you put this in. In which point did you guys use? -7 to 16? Alright, so we're going to use this one. So we have our y equals mx plus b. So y is 16 equals -3/7 x. X is -7 plus b. So now I have our -3 divided by 7 times my -7 gives me a 3. So I got 16 equals 3 plus b. Subtract my 3 and I get 13. You guys get 13? Okay. Then we have our final answer would be y equals -3/7 x plus 13. When you do this next part. When you do this next part, remember to find your b when you're graphing. Y equals mx plus b. Find your y-intercept, and then use your slope, your rise over your run. So take a moment to do number 10. So what you have to do, remember, is you find your y-intercept. So your y-intercept is -8. So you go on your y-axis to -8. Then we have a slope of 3. So when we have a slope of 3, we put what number on the bottom? A 1. So we're going to go up 3, right 1 from this point. And then connect it with a straight edge. On this, B is 2. So I'm going to go to 2. My slope is -4 over 7. So I'm going to go down 4, right 7. And then use a straight edge to connect it. Make sure you connect it. Make sure you put those arrows. If you go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we should be able to hit the line if we go 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's where my line was headed. So just so you know, every single point has a slope of that -4/7. Last one. You begin a workout program. When you start, you are able to run 10 miles. During the training, you can increase by 3 miles each week. Your M is what's the increasing or decreasing amount. What is your M? Is it 10 or 3? 3. Your B is your beginning value, your y-intercept or your beginning value, which we began at 10 miles. So our equation would be y equals 3x plus 10.